Okay. And now we are skipping to next day, I guess. I wonder if he finds the light bulbs, because she didn't like finished helping him with the light bulbs, so I thought I heard someone cry out. Okay, so this is the backstory again, right? But when I opened my eyes, I could not see a thing. Still lying flat, I moved my arms and fingers and sluggishly fumbled at the airtight buckle. I ignored the shrill integrity breach alert, as if it were a sound out of a harmless dream, and tore off my mud and crust face mask. The raw air, now unchecked by any filters, rushed into my dry throat. I gulped down breaths, as if every one would be my last, and then I surveyed the tableau that had been painted before my very eyes. Okay, what he sees. The first thing I saw was rain. Yep, that's the most terrifying rain in the world. The film of light rain rose like a curtain of smoke, obscuring my field of vision with its vagueness. It seemed as if I was on top of the small hill. There was no sign of any human life. The adults had all disappeared during the time I was dozing. Oh, this is like way before. This is his like backstory when he was a kid, I guess, because it's like the adults. I don't think he would call other like people the adults if this is like recent event. I already knew there was a defect in my hazmat suit. That was why I... Okay, never mind. This is not when he was a kid. I deserted. Okay, I was deserted. Okay. During this march, I had with my own eyes seen several people simply sit in the rubble, and then cease to move altogether, as if they became giant dolls. Ah, so they gave up, I guess. However, I was too tired to despair. The only thing I could feel was relief over the fact that I would not have to walk anymore. The wind resounded through the atmosphere, now bereft of grass or trees. Okay, maybe it is when he was a kid, actually. They were just like forced to march, I guess, and his suit was damaged, and that's why they just like left him, because he's contaminated at this point. Clouds as filmy as oil paper enveloped my entire field of vision, like some kind of burial shroud. I stared emptily up in the sky, my cheeks smeared with the warmth of mud. So yet another colony was being burned to the ground. The light shining through the low clouds, clad in thick orange radiance. It was coming from the place that the adults kept inciting, or just a little farther away. The very place at which they had promised that pure, drinkable water, edible foods, beds, and new friends of the same age as us were waiting. Wow, so this is not just like him being a kid, it's like a bunch of kids, I guess. Unless I'm reading it wrongly and it's actually him being like teenager maybe, or something? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. How far in the backstory is this? I guess at it like a machine, without any particular feeling at all. I think it was like... I think it's a backstory from like... maybe when the war just started. And there were like... maybe some time after, and there were colonies. And the outbursts of fights were like more common. Or something, like the initial like city attacks or maybe something. And they were like left behind.
おはようございます、お客様。
呼んでいたのはお前か。
はい。
夢を見ていた。
それは素晴らしいですね。楽しい夢でしたか？
Well, not really, but it was probably the beginning of his journey.
いや。
私はロボットなので夢を見ることはできないのですが、何と申しますか、 とても憧れてしまいます。
憧れるほどのものでもない。大抵の夢はな。
そうなんですか。
Well, not anymore, probably. Probably in that world, there's like, it's a lot harder to get like any good dream, probably. Not like very few people probably have good dreams in that world. A pair of childlike eyes continued to gaze at me. As I woke up, I cleared some of the cobwebs from my mind and grew aware of the situation around me. At this rate, it will probably not be long before I held conversations with robots, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. I mean, she's pretty natural at conversations, so you cannot blame her. Like, literally, at some points you can, like, think that she's a human. If she would just, like, not, like, say some, like, robotic stuff and she wouldn't be, like, tied to this planetarium and stuff, you would think that she's human. She's pretty, like, self-aware.
ところでお客様、ご気分はいかがでしょう？
昨日も言ったが、俺は病気じゃない。
はい、失礼しました。
She replied almost grudgingly, as if she wanted to treat me as the patient no matter what. Yes. As I started to rise from my chair, once again, I realized that there was something very strange sitting on my lap. It almost like a gigantic drop of water. Oh, wait, did she just like put on him the light bulb? Why would you put the light on a sleeping person? This guy could just like wake up and just like it could like fall off and just get destroyed. What is wrong with you, Hoshino? One end of the things was a glass sphere about as large as a child's head, in the middle of which was entrapped a taunt antenna-like wire, and the other end tapered into large bore screwed heads. There were 4 of these glass spheres in total, and they had been carefully lined up before me. I picked up the one on my lap and stared at it. The surface of the glass was cold as ice, and the entire thing was very light. Then, very gingerly put the fragile thing on the floor, taking care not to break it.
これがその電球か。
はい、お客様がお休みの間に用意しておきました。
Thank God he didn't like launch it like with his grenade launcher.
どこに置いてあったんだ？
はい、あちらのコンソールの下に専用のロッカーがあります。投影中にやむを得ず交換する場合もありますので。
Okay. There was a black desk similar to charge organ against the back wall. This then was probably the operations console for the projector. Or it was alright a bank of exaggeratedly large switches, like those seen in a child's toy. They were probably expressionlessly built that way for easy operation in the darkness. Makes sense.
お客様、よろしいでしょうか。
なんだ？
お目覚めのところ早速で申し訳ないのですが、イエナさんの修理状況は現在どのような具合でしょう
Well,
か。
the same as we ended last time because we didn't have the light bulb and you went to sleep.
まだ修理中だ。昨べと変わってない。
Yeah.
そうですか。
She quietly knit her brows, looking very despondent.
それでは私は投影中止の告知をしますので。
Yes, I told you yesterday that we'll not have a projection today. I told you that.
ああ、
At my response, she abruptly turned around like the weather vane and then left the projection room.
さてと。
I picked up a light bulb, held it in at arm's length, and inspected it. Did you ever saw light bulb like that? Repairing the projector was going to be much harder than I had originally thought. To use a smile. No, wait, not smile. Wait, what? Simile, yeah. To use a simile, the machine was like a precision watch which had been blown out of proportion. It had to be a century old at the very least. The exterior had been built without any regard for ease or efficiency of the maintenance, and the core had been engineered with such precision that it was now sitting. Yeah, this is basically the Swiss clock. And indeed, even an expert engineer would have had a hard time even replacing individual parts of the apparatus. Its purpose was to take the magnificent rotations of the stars, hold them within a sphere roughly 20 meters in diameter, and reproduce them flawlessly. It stood there as if it was to say that it was interested in no business other than that. Unfortunately, the time for fine craftsmanship and philosophy had vanished from this earth over 30 years ago. Once I moved the shell that housed the power unit, a terrible spectacle unfolded. The areas uncounted by grease had gone deep red with rust. Oh, I don't think we can do anything about that, right? I don't think we are going to see stars, actually. The bearings were fused, and the lead sheet was crumbling away. There was no way I was going to be able to jury rig this one. Its plight was so desperate that nothing short of winch suspension and total overhaul would help it. I had tested out every last part in the heap of junk to see if it might be of use, but as it stood, I was going to be unable to repair more than a few of the auxiliary projectors. On the other hand, there was another machine that was operating them more perfectly than I would have liked. The console, maybe? Wow, she's still on this. Why don't you come to Planetarium? I don't... This one sentence is probably like the saddest sentence in this whole game. I have so mixed feelings about this. Well, it just faded because my machine is broken. As I came to the reception area, canteen in hand, I heard her repeating her signature phrase to the raindrops. Yeah. When she realized that I was there, she started speaking to me with her usual good cheer. It appeared that the topic of the weather was universal small talk among both humans and robots then. It didn't clear up for the past 30 years. And you are looking at this rain for 7 days each year. Yeah. So I don't think it's the case of just this fall. I laid my canteen on the ground. I fixed my water purifier to its mouth, and then set it to catch the water dripping down from the roof. Okay, good that that he still have like this purifier. We don't want to drink that thing. She looked at me. She looked at my every little action, and the transparent raindrops flowing to my canteen as if it were seeing alchemy happen before her very eyes. What to drink? She shook her head doubtfully at my words, and then she seems to be ruminating about something. I doubt you can. I doubt you can. Everything is broken, and even if you can do this, you would probably use contaminated water, so no thank you. I still appreciate it, but the water you would use is most likely contaminated. I involuntarily echoed her words. I would have to be more careful in the future, as she had already demonstrated the capability to say things that completely were beyond my capability to anticipate or comprehend.
私はお茶を入れるのが得意なんです。
Okay.
今日は肌寒いですから、温かいコーヒーなどはいかがでしょう。
I could just imagine her pouring dirty water into an non-existent teacup and bring it to me with a smile on her face. Okay, I can see it now as well.
自分で汲んだ水以外は飲むなと医者に言われてるんだよ。
はい、わかりました。お客様に関する重要情報として記憶します。
Okay, so don't ask me to take any stuff from you. The flippant response that I had reeled off was received with that seriousness. Even now, I could not figure out her regime of operation.
飲み物なら酒はないのか。封を切っていない瓶詰めの蒸留酒だ。密封されたタバコでもいい。これは俺に
Yeah, I mean,
も重要な。
yeah, distilled liquid with unbroken seals is pretty much safe from any danger. I asked these things of her, allowing myself a silver of hope.
はい、ございます。
Okay, she immediately broke into a smile, so gentle that even the angels would covet it. Let me guess, you will want me to pay for it. I don't have any money, I'm sorry.
本当か。どこにある。
はい、当デパート地下1階に高級洋酒売り場がございまして。
Okay, maybe. I mean, if there is a store, yeah, they will no longer sell it, but it's possible for like the bottles still be untouched and stuff, right? Even if it's like flooded with water. Actually, if it's flooded, we cannot take it because the water is contaminated. Yeah, it's bad.
もういい。
Yeah, it's just, yeah, underwater probably. So yeah. I stopped her before she could offer to go down to those now submerged liquor shops to confirm that they still had what I wanted in stock. Yeah. I sighted, and as I expelled the air in my lungs out into the atmosphere, I could feel almost all the strength of my body going with it. I plucked at my bangs instead. There was nothing to be done about it. In short, I was too hungry to care.
あの、
Yeah, that's another thing.
お体
We don't have any food.
よろしくないのでしょうか。
And actually this is pretty bad to stay in this place if you think about this. This place have no water, no food, no medicine. In a world like this, when you need to like scavenge for stuff, you cannot stay in place like this. This is basically a death sentence.
持病のようなものだ。気にしないでくれ。
はい、承知しました。ところでお客様、イエナさんの修理状況は現在どのような具合？
The same as always.
さあな。俺にもわからん。
それは現状ではいつ修理が完了するかわからないという意味でしょうか。
ああ、そのと。
そうですか。
Yep. I heard her voice somewhere. I don't know where. The canteen was finally full, so I screwed the cover back on.
ずっとそこに立っているつもりか。
はい、お客様がいらっしゃった時に投影中止のお詫びと説明をしなければなりません。
No one will come.
錆びるぞ。
ご心配には及びません。私の筐体は第2種業務防水仕様になっておりますので、少々の雨でしたら。
Okay, well at least that's good. But on the other hand, you don't know that this thing is like rusting like a lot of stuff. And just by being in touch, I don't think the people who made you thought about the contaminated water raining from the sky. That is like destroying everything.
そうか。
I don't know how good her waterproofing was, but she was definitely a first-class chatterbox. And if she was going to stay here and make a rocket, then that meant the projection room would be left in relative peace.
俺は戻るぞ。
はい、イエナさんをよろしくお願いします。
Okay. She made a profound gesture of gratitude. After that, she returned around to face the rain once more.
プラネタリウムはいかがでしょう。
Oh.
どんな時も
This pains me! This physically pains me!
客引きしても当分治らないぞ。
いいえ、これは発声練習です。
Yeah.
いつお客様が来てもいいように万全の体制でお迎えしなければなりませんので。
そうか。じゃあな。
As I wet my hands over my shoulder, her voice once again rang out amidst the
満
rain.
天の星々が皆様をお待ちしています。プラネタリウムはいかがでしょう。
This is painful, actually. A stench of rust and sulfur wafted from water. It was not the fault of the water purifier. No. The thing that was broken was the atmosphere of this little planet itself. Even if one could somehow extract current directly from the rain cloud, the water result would not be pure at all. If one dug for thousands of meters underground, one might strike upon a still untainted groundwater artery, but that was not a price that the junker could put his hands on, and was not worth its volume in alcohol anyway. Yeah. As I thought these things, I unsealed my final MRE. Okay, so he has some food. Also, I just thought about this, so... Because he's like, not worth its volume in alcohol. Is he somehow like... distilling alcohol, like, you know, like taking out alcohol and leaving just the water? I don't know if you can do this in chemistry. Can you do this? Actually? Like, take out the ethanol and leave only the water? Can you do it somehow? I don't know. Does any of you in the comments know? Can you let me know if something like that is possible? Then I would understand why alcohol is so valuable, if that's possible, because that's like source of like non-contaminated water, basically. The hard track biscuit had no flavor to it at all. If I stayed here any longer, I would die. Yeah, this is what I just said. Staying here is basically the death sentence. I washed down the biscuit that had become powder in my mouth with the water from the canteen. I had seen death countless times, and I had also imagined what my own death would be like. A stream of blood cutting its way through filthy mud, violet steam rising from the tide burned by the flamethrower mine, the intolerable stench of so many blisters, the feeling of bones shattering underfoot like so much fragile china, the sound of water damming on stock of the assault rifle stabbed through a burial mound, the weight of the wet soil being shoveled down on the artificial flower that the mother had fashioned out of precious scraps of cloth. Surely this, too, was the way that my life would be erased in an instant if I was lucky, and in several days of unbearable agony if I was not. The rain was the constant companion of death. Death thus had no jurisdiction of its own. The rain that did not cease would never allow such a thing. Yet now the spectre of my death was under a dry roof. It was there in the giant heap of parts, simple and artless like a child's doll, suffusing everything in the room. If I were just to raise a hand, I could partake it in it at any time. I still had a hard time believing that this was really happening. As I removed the scraps of the projector one by one, it became increasingly difficult to remember where I was. It was almost as if I were dissembling my very own spirit right then and there. I like this analogy. I like it. I like what they're doing this here. By basically giving like comparing his life. He's comparing his life to this device. It's broken, it's like pretty much you cannot like save it, but you're still saving it bit by bit. There is still hope for it. Wow. Time began to flow as vaguely as it amidst the word chunk to the narrowest confines of this projection room. As I polished them, the precision lenses regained their frozen radiance one by one. Was the rain even falling outside right now? I could not even say that with confidence anymore. This is cool. You have like just a bit of peace here. This is amazing. Dozens of hours ago, I was struggling to breathe in the amidst of the rain. I had daubed my cheeks with mud in order to evade the thermal scans of mentioned jiggers. I could not recall anymore what I was afraid of that at the time. Also, but on the other hand, first of all, this is cool that he feels like that. He have like finally some peace. But on the other hand, this is very like not good and dangerous because he need to leave this place sooner or later. So if he like will not be on alert when he's outside, and this is also a death sentence, so this place is equally good and bad for him at this point. It's like rising his spirits up, but also makes it like more difficult to survive later if he's like not careful. In the sarcophagus city, filled only with death, I was in the embrace of the broken machine and the subsystems under its rule. Like the fisherman of the old world legend, who had been swallowed by the giant fish and then made the best of it by finishing inside the belly of the beast. Fishing inside the belly of the beast. I immersed myself in this work.
お客様、お疲れ様です。
Okay.
客は来たか。
いえ、本日はお客様お一人でした。
そうか。
でも、きっと明日にはたくさんのお客様が来てくださる
This
と
is
思
so
います。
sad. Did they repair it? And the evening was completely under her demise.
それで最近、最新型の905シリーズが1階エントランスの総合案内に2体配属されたんです。
Okay, I don't know what she's talking about, but we'll see this in the next episode. Yeah, I'm finishing the recording session and yeah, it's pretty cool so far. I like how they portrayed the story and how this place is influencing basically life of this guy. It's pretty cool and heartwarming, to be honest. So yeah, I have big hopes for the future of the series, and yeah, I don't know, leave a like, I guess, if you like what's happening right now. Let me know if you like my analogy, or at least that's how I understand what he meant by the like taking this planetarium device basically into pieces of his soul. That's how I understand that. That is basically his life, and there's still hope for it to be fixed. It's not like it's like hopeless situation. He's still alive. So yeah, I think that's it. So let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks once again, and for now, Pocket Watch is going out.